Welcome to the Bioexperiment Laboratory, or otherwise known as the Maintenance Area in Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. Now, this is an area you only get to see briefly in the original version of Shin Megami Tensei 5, and you also get to see it a second time in Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, but it is a very fascinating area to me. It is also a very important one because it's related to the Protofiends and the Protofiend lore in the game and how they're created and how they're maintained. It's just a really cool area. As someone who likes like lab and sci-fi, laboratory stuff and all that, biopunk kind of things, this area is really cool. And you don't get to actually like go here as an Ahobino and like run around unless you use like the debug mod or any other way to like explore the map. You only get to see it in cutscenes. So, I've been wanting to port this area for a long time, and back then when I was kind of doing, like, when SMT5 first came out, I didn't have, like, as much knowledge when it came to, like, porting stuff from SMT5 specifically. I had knowledge of porting stuff from other games, but not, like, Unreal Engine games, or how to, like, pull in assets and put them together, and how to make them look good. Now, because this is done in Unreal Engine, trying to translate things over to, like, Unity, this is in VRCHAT, and VRCHAT uses Unity. It is kind of difficult, but I tried my best to get the look right, and I hope I did a good job in trying to capture the vibe. But let me actually show you what options this map has as well. Of course, I like to throw a lot of different options in the menu. There's a big menu for the map. There's some, a lot of little cool things to see in the map itself, even though it's not a huge area. Well, the center area is kind of small, but the area around it, which you don't get to see much of unless you use like other methods to view the model, is actually like a really huge area. It's a massive area with a massive bridge, but like I said, you only get to see so much of it in the actual game. So let's explore it. So I'm going to give like a basic tour of this area, maybe explain a few things, what I think they're used for based on the observations in the game, and, kind of some of the other stuff that you don't actually get to see unless you, have other methods of exploring the map. So I'm going to walk around a little bit, and then I'll actually show all the menu stuff. So as you may have seen in like the intro of this video, there is a large bridge in this map, and I've showed it in videos before just covering this area, either through like debug tool or free cam, and you don't get to see much of it. And I don't know if they plan to do something with this bridge, because you will barely see it in the cutscenes. And it's a massive bridge, and this whole area is in like it looks like it's way underground in this big like rocky structure. And when you come up here all the way up the bridge, there's actually, now the Simolodrum is not here, I just put it here just for the sake of it, to put something up here, because I don't actually know what to do with this area yet, but this looks like a huge doorway or something that would have a door. And the wall, I may have brought it up before, but the wall looks like it's part of the diet building. You can't see the textures, of course, because it's really dark over here, and normally you wouldn't even be able to see this area in the game anyways, even in the cutscenes. But from what I've observed, it kind of looks like it is part of the diet building, so maybe it's part of like somewhere underneath the diet building that they have under the lab area, because they have the whole like the lab part of the Bethel, Japan, is in both the diet building and the hospital in Japan, in Tokyo. So they have like the lab stuff going on in both areas. So I kind of figured like, when it comes to the creation of Protofiends, they may have had the area to create them hidden way underground in DOT instead of like the fake Tokyo, perhaps, because the Protofiends, I don't know if they would be deploying the Protofiends in Tokyo. You can't see them anyways, because they're invisible to humans unless they have like, special devices to see them, because they're just like demons. So I imagine maybe they had, and this is something I've already brought up before, that they would be developing the Protofiends in a very secret area tucked away. They're probably doing it in DOT, because this area is also listed under the environments for DOT. Like all the maps for DOT specifically, this area is actually listed under it instead of Tokyo, so that may be another hint as to where this area is. And I tried my best to try and match the environment in the game. There's sort of like this area is actually way foggier than it is in the VRCHAT version. There's a lot of like wind. I'm not sure what this area is exactly. Like where this is, why has this like weird fog? I'm going to guess that there's actually some sort of liquid under it. I'm probably not going to theorize it now because I want to show out the map, because I've been thinking for a while, like the way this is structured, and with all the fog, and of course there's machinery that's going to produce like steam. I think they have a lot of stuff that's running off of steam. So if that's the case, it is likely pulling up liquid from somewhere as well. They probably have this. There's probably like a big thing of water under here, just based on the way this whole structure is. I don't know where it could be located though. It is very interesting. So you come to this area. There's a torii gate. Now, this is something I pointed out before, and a lot of people didn't notice the torii gate before. Sometimes it's very hard to see unless you're like, trying to look in the area that it's located in the cutscenes, because there's a lot of like, this area normally I think is more dark in the cutscenes, so you normally wouldn't see the bridge that well, and you wouldn't see the torii gate that well, when Aogami's like walking off after his maintenance. So there is a torii gate there. And I'm guessing this torii gate goes along with they have these flags here to have the 3 seals. I've probably already talked about them. They're related to the sacred children, like the 3 sacred treasures tied to the Amatsukami. I'm not going to really go over the lore too much. There's different ways you can look it up. I have other videos on my channel as well that goes over the stuff. So you have the machinery here. I've probably maybe pointed out how they work before, based on like looking at cutscenes, using FreeCam and Debug Mod to sort of examine them. But they have this, they have these 3 cylinders set up, these 3 tanks that contain the goop. It's Izanagi's juice, basically his power to divide up into 3 to be used for the protophenes, the Amatsukami protophenes. And they have 3 tanks designated to, you have Susanoo, which is the sword, the 3 sacred treasures. So you have the sword, you have the mirror for Tsukuyomi, and then you have the, this is the imperial seal on it, or for the family, but it's actually, normally the treasure that's associated with the Amaterasu is supposed to be like a jewel or Magatama. So that's what this is associated with. This is Amaterasu's tank. Now in the VRCHAT version, I did not have the tanks lowered to their levels. I could do that maybe and updated it, but I just wanted to, have them all full, just for the sake of it. Because normally in the actual game, I believe this level here, and even when I pour the assets, the default level as Amaterasu's tank appears in the game is actually this full. So it's a tank that hasn't actually been emptied that much, and that's how they weren't able to do anything with the Amaterasu protophene. And of course, if you want to know why, you gotta play Vengeance. I'm not gonna explain that lore here. So this tank wasn't used that much. And then in the game, this is Tsukuyomi's tank, and of course he's revealed to be a protofiend. So his goop is in this tank. And in actuality, it's actually like kind of halfway, so up there, maybe at his height, his like hip height or whatever. It's usually halfway full. And then this would be Susanoo's tank, or the tank that they use mostly for Aogami. I think they actually utilize, based on the cutscenes, I think they do pull a little bit from each tank, because Aogami specifically, even though he's supposed to be Susanoo, he is specifically designed to inherit the full power of the Amatsukami, so I think they pull, based on the cutscenes, they pull mostly from this. They mostly drain this tank, and it is pretty empty when you view it in the game. It's like they barely have enough left, because they've been making so many protophene models, like the Aogami ones, that they barely have enough to make any. The Aogami that you meet in the game is pretty much the last one, so they can't really make any more. They don't have enough. And then the other tanks, I guess they can't, I don't know, I guess they can't really utilize them much for Aogami. They have to mainly pull from the Susanoo one. And then these tanks would normally, when they drain, they go into this middle pool here. which is where I believe it's suggested that the protofiends are born and created here in this pool. And then they also, when they require maintenance and also need to have their data analyzed, they go into this pool as well. And I don't know what all the theories are about what this stuff is like, other than it's supposed to be Izanagi's power, but it kind of, the green color and then the fact that it's like a liquid, and you know, the way the protofiends are, it kind of reminds me of like different forms of like magnetite that appeared in the series, because magnetite's usually green. So I kind of wondered if like they did something with like Izanagi's essence that was split into 3 in magnetite, and it's used to create the protofiends. They haven't really talked. I mean, Vengeance revealed more on the protofiends, but there's still a lot we don't know about their actual, like, you know, how they do the thing, how they actually create them. That's still a mystery, and maybe they intend to keep it a mystery. But yeah, they have these machines here. They have this system, they have the screens here that do the data analysis. So, for example, when they need to give, when Aogami goes in to get maintenance and have corrupted data analyzed after he returns, he's been gone for a very long time, and he, you know, appears again, and then they take him in and have him go in the pool, and I believe they drain the tank, and the pool fills up with this liquid, and they use this to analyze the data that's in him. So that's why I'm wondering if it's magnetite based, because there's something related to magnetite in the series that also, like, you know, there's this whole thing about everything being made up of data too, and being made up of like I don't want to say, but I think being made of magnetite. The name changes, the magnetite basis changes. They call like Magatsui as well. It goes by different names in the series, but I think it's all pretty much supposed to be the same thing. So that's what I'm wondering, like, if it is actually that, like, because of that, they're able to read it, translate it over in the data that they can actually read. So they do analyze it over on these machines here. So they have like the actual screen to analyze the data. These things I find very interesting. I'm pretty sure this is like a steam-powered system. Now in the actual game, when you get a chance to kind of look at these a little bit closer, all these pipes, the pipes are moving, and they kind of make a sound, and there's steam coming off them, so that's what gives me an idea that it is, you know, it's steam power. There's also valves around it, you know, for controlling the pressure. So it's steam powered. It's used to pull in the, I'm guessing it's used to pull in the liquid from the pool. And these could be used for anything. They could be used for refining the liquid and turning them, like, you know, in being used for analysis. Like maybe they have to convert the liquid over in order to analyze it. It could be used to cool off the liquid, you know, any sort of thing involving the liquid. This machinery does. And then of course they have this area here, which you do see in my other video when I was actually going through this area. There's this up area that you can climb up. I just have a jump high enough so that you can access it instead of a ladder. But yeah, you have this area up here. I'm sure it's just used to get a better look at the tanks. You know, if you're up here to just sort of like observe things, each tank has like an upper area. Same machinery pretty much to maintain and read the tanks and everything like that for the protofiends. So that's why I think how this works pretty much. Also, this area has, I'm not sure if it's just for looks. It could be. And mine, the emissives on the floor aren't exactly accurate, so they don't look as good as they are in the game. But there's also like this weird emissive stuff that's in this weird rock structure that the maintenance area is on, and it kind of looks like the liquid in the tanks as well. So I don't know if the system is also like just pulling up this liquid from somewhere. It really does look like it. It's like, maybe it's just part of the system that actually pulls. Because I was wondering, maybe, you can see, there is an actual area in the pool. You don't get to see it, but I'm going to jump in here, and I have an Aogami sitting in here. So this area is actually, I believe this area is actually bigger in the game, because when I was examining it before, when Aogami is getting out of the tank, it's He's really small compared to this pool. So maybe, I don't know if mine's to scale, but it should be close enough. So I did actually add swimming in here. I'll show more of this when I get to the menu, but I'm just doing the tour for now. But yes, this is, there is an interior here. The textures aren't as crisp in the VRCHAT map, but when you look at them, the ones that are in the game, this pool is actually kind of like rusted. There's also rust around the machinery as well. I can show that a little bit, but that means this definitely means this area has been used a lot and has like aged over time. Yeah, I can't remember if the rust is supposed to be around all the tanks, but I know of something I noticed around Aogami's tank. There's actually just rust around the whole thing. So it's been used for a while, and of course this, you know, you have a lot of moisture and steam and everything, so this machinery is getting quite old. And it makes you wonder how long this system here has been going for, because I don't think they really give you an idea of that. And, you know, if it's steam machinery, then I guess you could be like, okay, well, if we're using the real world as a basis, when did, like, steam machinery... When did they have the ability to develop something like this? But it is an alternate reality, and maybe they had better technology than we did, like, you know, in the earlier days, so who knows how long the system has been running to make protofiends. So that is the basic tour. This also, outside of this area, there's also just a bunch of, like, rock... There's, like, a lot of just rock structures just sticking out of here, not being used or anything. It's just for looks. Everything is centered in the middle. Okay, so now for the menu. This is Acronite's menu. I added a lot of stuff to it. Acronite's menu counts with just, like, some basic settings that people would normally use in VRCHAT. But for me, I usually add so much to it. I had a lot of options to it. So, and there's a lot of options for the water, too, in the middle pool. And if you ever interested, this is something I like people to do, but if you're someone who's interested in the shaders used in this map or for the water, like, because I combined a ton of different shaders for some of this stuff. You can always go to the credits, and I have credits for all the shaders here and all the stuff that I used, if you're interested in it. And maybe want to use some of those yourself if you make VRCHAT maps, because I like when people do that. It's helpful for me. So I'm going to go ahead and actually come over here and summon the menu. I may fix how the menu's summoned, because at the moment, it doesn't have a way to, like, disappear. It just, if you hold, for index controllers, if you hold the grips, and I'm going to summon over here, and you press trigger, it'll summon the menu. So I'm going to show the visual settings first. I have visual settings for the center light here, so it makes it a little bit darker. Actually, you know what? Before I do this, I'm going to show you guys something. Because I did show pictures. Most of the time when I showed pictures of this area, I actually have a bunch of Aogamis here. So let me just do this. Just for the sake of also showing the different visual toggles too, because it's nice to have them out when I make it dark and you can see, like, their outlines as well. So I do have, I'll show more of these later, but I have options to toggle on more Aogamis, because of course there are multiple, you know, that there's been multiple Aogami units that existed in the timeline of the game. So I was like, okay, you know what, if this is the area that they were created in, I'm going to put more Aogami units here. So I have 4 of them at the moment, and there's like they have a few things they can do, but I will show that later. So let me get back to the visual settings here. So make sure to check post-processing. I have them all shoved in here. This isn't just for post-processing, this is for, like, a bunch of stuff. So you can toggle off the center light, and that makes it a little bit darker. So this makes it a little bit darker. There's a center light lighting the middle area here. So the outlines on them look really cool when it's dark. I can make it even darker though. You can turn off the bloom. Some maps actually have this post-processing prefab where it gives you, like, a whole range of settings. I may add that eventually, but for now I'm just trying to keep stuff basic when it comes to post-processing, because I don't want to mess with it too much. So if you turn it off, it turns off the bloom that usually comes off of missives. You can turn off the brightness. It makes it a little bit dark. Then even with the middle light off, you can turn off the color. So it becomes less green, which you might prefer, because it is, this area is very green. It's usually pretty dark and very green. And then the height fog. This is what I'm using for the outside area. So if you turn this off, it makes it extremely dark. So honestly, even with the height fog off, now the reason it's very dark when you turn the height fog off is the height fog relies on a directional light being on. So I believe for the toggle, I actually had to turn off the directional light if you want to turn off the height fog. So it makes it pretty dark in here, but it does look cool. It does look cool when it's really dark like this. And then you can toggle off the machine steam. The machine steam's particles, so, you know, just for performance sake, you may want to play around with the different settings to maybe, you know, if you're getting frame drops, because I do have a lot of stuff going on in the map, so it may cause some frame drops depending on what your rig is and your headset and everything. Of course, this map is not Quest compatible. You can only access it on PC VR, and I will not do a Quest version because that will severely limit it what I can actually do with the map and how it looks visually, so I cannot do that. So there's actually a bunch of pool settings. So I have a toggle for the water surface. This removes the, so I have a few different layers here. Including a bunch of shaders mixed in order to create this pool. So I have a layer in order to be able to show the texture that's normally in this pool in the game. Now, it's definitely not accurate to the way it looks in the game, because in the game, there's like two different things combined to kind of make it look like a whirlpool. There's like a center thing that's kind of moving around, and then an outer thing that's kind of moving around. But I wanted to make this pool swimmable and kind of interactable and have like the ability for objects to float in it. So I made it very different from the game. But you can turn like the texture that normally belongs in this pool off, and it makes it like really clear. And you can turn off the water lights. So there's like a point light in there. And then you can turn off the pool fog. Now, the pool fog is sort of like a workaround that I used for the underwater effect. Because normally, there is swimming out of the water. I used the Udon swim system, which you can see here. This is what happens. Now, normally, if you want to create sort of like an underwater effect, you go to the water, you have to use like a mixture of post-processing, I think a camera, or something like that. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, I kind of don't want to do that. And there's also, I think, some type of shader that you have to pay for extra in order to also like have a different way of doing the underwater effect. So my version of doing it was to add, I think this is Silence Fake volumetric lights, which make a good like fog that doesn't eat performance. And I've used it in like other maps before. So you can turn off the pool fog, and now it's just very clear water with caustics, which you can also toggle off. The caustics are by Noribin, and I've seen this caustic like projection thing in other VRCHAT maps, and I was like, you know what, it looks really cool. It kind of adds to being underwater effect along with the fog, but you can also toggle it off if you want. And so you've got options for having a combination of things. There's still one more surface on the top, and it's actually the interactable water. Now the version, there's different like settings and like versions of the shader that you can use. It's the SilVR interactable water shader. It has this whole rig that you set up, just like it's similar to like Udon swimming system, the way you set it up. But the shader, the version of the shader that I used, isn't as interactable as the one I've seen in other worlds, where you can actually like grab a hold of the water and make like big ripples and splash and everything like that. It's only a little bit interactable. Let me show you though. But you can toggle that off as well, so it's not interactable. And then I think the final thing on the surface is a splash shader. So yeah, that's adding like that. You see like a little bit stuff here that's from the splash shader that's left. So let me toggle, I'm actually just gonna toggle everything but the regular water surface, the caustics and everything. Now with the SylVR water shader, it allows you to interact with the water like this. So it creates ripples. In some maps that use it, you can actually like grab a hold of water and like pull it up. I haven't been able to figure that out, or it's like one of the other shaders, the variations of the shader that allow you to do more. And the thing is like I tried to use a different version of it, but it didn't look too good for the pull, or maybe it was like it didn't allow for as much transparency. It could have been a matter, like a combination of things. So this one in particular, I decided to use for it instead. So it creates a little, if you move your hands, it creates a little bit of ripple and everything. And then, yeah, if you do like this, it kind of, you can see that it also kind of interacts with the water as well. I combine that with a splash shader that makes splashing as well. And I think there's like another one that causes splashing too. I think it's the aqua float. I don't have that on, but I'll also show that as well, because that's a whole thing. Basically, you can splash in the water reacts to your movement. There's caustics and fog. You can go underwater, you can swim. So you have a lot of options for this middle pool here. Now, I kind of wanted to do, I tried to do a similar thing for these tanks here. I wanted people to be able to go in the tanks and also swim, but I think just because it's not like, it's something that's above ground, and just the way the collider was, I couldn't quite set it up the same way, so the swimming just would not work, and I was just, you know, fuck it. I'll just have the middle pool is like the main thing for the swimming though. So I did add the avatar menu that's in the dorm room map, so it's pretty much the same avatars. I think there's been a few new things added, but I haven't been putting out a lot of like SMT avatars lately. I've just been busy with other things, but all the old ones are there, and some of them are by my friends. Also make great avatars as well. There's a video player. So I got like a huge video player here. One of my videos about this area will autoplay as well if you're interested in that. And the controls are right here if you want to. Oh, there's me. I have the volume pretty low, that way it just doesn't like blast your ear out when you load this in.
And I'm also going to be...
So there's that. There are plenty of chairs on this map. Now, because I have Go-Go Loco, I don't normally use stations. Myself, I don't really make use of them, but for anyone who doesn't have Go-Go Loco or doesn't have sitting poses, I have stations around the pool. So I have chairs that are around the pool. I have like 4 different chair stations so that you can sit around the pool if you don't have Go-Go Loco or FBT. I have sitting stations along the all the 3 different tanks as well, although I think I need to adjust because the legs are clipping, so I need to move that forward a little bit, but this is an area you can also set at all 3 tanks. Of course, are toggles for all the Aogamis and Koshimizu, if you would like to just have them out or sit by them for any reason. Now, Koshimizu, I do have like a few things that you can do to interact with the Aogamis. It's not perfect. I was working on it for a while, so it may be a bit borked, especially if you have multiple people in the map, but at least you have the ability to grab Koshimizu and chuck him into the pool. I think he needs a good bath. Like dude works so hard, he has no time to soak. So you can give him a good soak if you want to. Come on. We're gonna we're gonna give him a nice vacation. Don't worry, don't you panic. Things will be just fine. I'm totally not reenacting The Lion King here. Long live the king. And there he goes. Oh yeah, you can reset him. I still need to figure out how to do this properly when you grab him, because yeah, look how stiff he is. Let us. He's just chilling now. He's not panicking. I have a thing on the back of him that you can click to make him panic. I think I need to change it to where when you just grab him, he'll panic, but for now it's kind of like a button, if he even stays still. If you ever want to reset him, if you can't put him back in place, just do what I did before, and you can just throw him off, and then he'll reset back in place if you decide you're done playing around with him. Remember to treat all proto-fiends with respect. Make sure to give them plenty of pets, and plenty of demon Magatsui to consume. And speaking of that, I'm going to show you the next thing here, involving stuff that floats on the pool and a way to feed the Aogamis. Now if you come over to the menu, there's an aqua float toggle. It will toggle a table of floater objects and a bunch of other stuff, and a thing for Aogami. The aqua float system is by Udon VR. It allows objects to float on water and to move around randomly, or however you want to set it up. But it's a really cool system for creating like immersive water that allows objects to like float around and move around like realistic water. So we have this table over here that's got some fun items on it that you can play with. There's the floaters, the tubes. What do you call these things? I don't remember. Inner tubes? Be careful with these, by the way. So these go on the water. So just a word of caution, but don't grab these because they will cause you to fly. I will demonstrate what they do, just so you know what they do if you try to grab these. It will send you. I mean, if you don't get motion sick off of VR and you got VR legs like me, and this shit doesn't bother you at all, and being sent flying in circles around the map doesn't bother you, you can totally do this. At least if you end up flying off of the map, you'll get respawned, so it's okay. And then the inner tube is just back at this area, so it'll be fine. Just be careful. So we have a tank here full of infant Aogami. So you can take the lid off of here. And there's 6 of these guys. These little guys here. And you can gently put them in the pool. I actually have like a little helpful protofiend care guide here. Protofiend care guide. Gently place infant protofiends in the green liquid pool so that they may receive exercise and sustenance. So we're gonna throw some of the Aogamis in the pool here. Don't worry about being a little harsh with throwing them. They'll be fine. They can withstand it. You don't have to be too gentle. Just chuck them in there. They'll start swimming around. Go. There you go. So now you can enjoy a pool full of swimming infant protofiends if you want. These little guys. Do not throw infant Aogami outside of the maintenance area. Well, shall we test that? Now I have 2 ways to respawn the Aogami infants if they happen to get lost. So you can hit the container here for respawn, or if you want to send them on a little flight, I'm sure they'll be able to handle it. They'll be just fine. You know, they need to get their training as combat units. You know, infant Aogami have to learn early. So, you know, you can chuck a few of them off the maintenance area if you want. They'll be just fine. They'll spawn back where they started. Simba. So I've got one more thing to show with the baby Aogamis. When you do this, do not keep them in the tank. Put them out on the floor or in the pool. We're gonna give them some food. But they go a little crazy when you bring out the food. So you don't want them anywhere they can get stuck. So we're gonna put them out on the floor. Open up the baby food here. Just open up the lid. You see already. Yeah, there's by the way, this stuff here, and it's kind of borked. It's not perfect, but you can play around with it if you want. This is crystallized Magatsuei. There's one that's for adult protophenes and one that's for infant protophenes. So the crystallized Magatsuei for adult protophenes, both of these are cruelty-free, authentic flavor, and nutrient-rich. They are voluntarily donated Magatsuei from a human source and blood for the protophene adults, which I'm sure you can just put together what sort of background lore I had for this. Just ignore the fact that there's a Catboy Vikun on there. We'll just ignore that. It has nothing to do with Vikun donating his Magatsuei to feed Aogamis, nothing like that. And then the one for the infants is donated Magatsuei and sugar. So let's take out the baby food and see what happens. Oh god. So yeah, they go crazy if you hold the food. It's just a way for them. Oh god. We're gonna take them on. You know what? Let's see if they'll go on the bridge. Come hither, children. Let's see if they're fast enough to catch up to me. They're coming. They're rolling. They're rolling. Where'd the other ones go? Where are the other ones? Did they make it? I don't know where they went. Did they fall off? Oh, they can't get over. Well, the other ones did. I don't know how. Oh, okay. Come on. You can make it. Come on. You can do it. Come on. I know you can do it. Help him get up. I guess some of them aren't as physically capable as some of the other ones. But yeah, this is a thing you can do. Just be careful where you have them starting out when you pull out the food, because otherwise they'll fucking collide with stuff and go flying. I feel like the Pied Piper, except with baby Aogamis. Would they follow me off of the, I don't think they don't. I don't think they do. You gonna follow me off the map? There you go. They'll probably go flying now because they respawn in the, oh god, yeah. I'm just gonna put this back now. I haven't developed a way to really feed them yet, because it's kind of, the feeding thing is kind of complicated, even with the adult Aogami as well, so... Okay, you're going back in there. Let me put the food away. Hit the lid so you can disable it. I also have a few other floaty things on this table, but they don't move, so... cat boy protagonist. I have the Koshimizu plush. Throw that in here. The one of the Nahobino plushes. I actually own that one. And then the one for Yoibino. This one's called, I guess the official name for this one is Yoibino, so it's a ninja Nahobino. So those also float in the pool as well. Okay, so I do have a thing set up for feeding Aogamis, but it took me a while to get this to work, and even then it's still pretty jank. Now, it's better to try and feed them when you're alone and not with other people, because trying to sync everything up just breaks the Aogamis. Even then, it's the system, like trying to respawn the ball and everything is still borked, so do what you can. So each of the Aogamis here can be fed. So if you have the Magatsui ball here, this crystallized Magatsui, you just approach them. Just getting right in front of them and hold it up carefully. Well, okay, hold on. And then just shove it in their face. Yep, I don't have any more. I'm good. Now, the actual trying to respawn the ball after they eat does not seem to work properly. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So, just a warning, if it doesn't work properly and respawn in the container, sometimes it'll respawn right in front of them. So, you can grab the one wherever, just kind of look around for the ball, because sometimes it doesn't appear where it should. Would you like some food, Mr. Aogami? I have a nice, crunchy Magatsui ball for you. Yes, come hither. No, come here. Say there you go. Good boy. So you can feed this one as well. You just hold it up to his side and he'll turn around. No, come here. There you go. So you can't feed Koshimizu, and I know he's a protofiend, but when I actually get the feeding thing smoothed out where it isn't jank, then I may also add a thing to where you can feed him Magatsui as well. So a few more things. I have sound settings. There's music that you can listen to, just a few tracks from the game if you want. And then like the sliders for UI sound, the ambience in the background, like the machinery and just general ambience of the area. A slider for the underwater sound when you go underwater in the pool. There's also pool mirrors. And a mirror by one of the tanks. So there is a mirror here with a transparency slider. And then there's a mirror in the tank as well. And one up here. Now I have a minor thing I want to show, and it's by the tank for Susanoo's goop. So if you enable tank 1 controls and go over to the tank on the left side, there is a monitor for the Aogami that's in the tank if you happen to have him on. There is a button to drain this tank. So if you hit it a few times, you can drain it completely. There we go. There's a button for clear liquid. So a different kind of liquid shader. And then this will teleport you into the tank. So you'll have to stand a little bit closer to the surface of the glass to be more visible in here, but this will allow you to be inside the tank if you want to be for, I don't know, pictures or whatever. So that's it for the map tour and showing all the things that the map is capable of, all the options and things you can play with, so feel free to stop by and do whatever you feel like in here. And enjoy having like another SMT5 port in VRCHAT, because I know there's not a lot, but I really enjoy the process of you know, trying to get maps like this together and put in VR. So I hope you'll enjoy. Would you like to see your son? We're like, no, don't eat. No eat. No eat baby. No eat baby. See? No eat baby. No eat baby. No. You no eat! No eat, baby! Okay. Goodbye.